This is going to be a different sort of video. Kind of reminds me of more of the videos that I kind of started with. They weren't ever really intended to be viewed publicly, even though it's up on a very public social media platform. But I guess it's very anonymous and no one knows me or anything about me, and it's okay. I feel safe. That's what's important, right? So, anyway, this is my day off. That's why I'm here. Any other day of the week, and I would be at my place of employment, and I would be on my lunch break, actually. But tonight, it's my night to do whatever I want. And anyway, so I was trying to sleep, and I couldn't. And I was just waiting till the sun started to come up, and I was going to decide whether to go out and take pictures or collect video of the sunrise and then post that to my usual place. I sometimes post clips of that onto YouTube as well, but I haven't done that in a while. There's a little interest, it appears. Not very many people. I'm sure there is interest, it's just my channel doesn't gather or attract much attention. And the people that do check out some of the stuff, they only watch like 15 seconds to 20 seconds on average. It's like, it's not immediately entertaining or funny or attractive. And, people are on YouTube for all sorts of reasons. And it's not up to me to, figure it out. And I tend to enjoy just anything that I guess is thought-provoking or engaging or gets me thinking, asking questions, seeing things slightly different than how maybe I would have on my own, and it at least gets me interacting. Where, I don't know. Anyway, we're already well underway, and I will have scared away or bored away the casual passerby. This is what I'm doing here tonight when I couldn't sleep. And I decided I must have something to say. I should get up and say it. And I was trying to, at first, think of, what can I talk about in a minute for a short recording? And I only had, I was trying to think back on the recent topics that I've been toying around with, trying to, write, mentally. Or I've just written down little prompts to get me going at some point and explore it based on the prompt on that day and see what I think about it and what comes out. And I don't ever really write down a full script or anything. But I didn't think that this was the right time, and I still wasn't ready to talk about those things, I guess. Didn't really care as much. It was just more like some of the topics are just kind of fluff or fodder for just making a video for the sake of making a video, just to stay visible and keep at it and not let the channel just kind of dissolve and fade. It already has, actually. It doesn't, even though it never got that much attention, even at the beginning, it was still new and a little bit different, and I felt like I was doing something different myself than maybe what a lot of other people were used to seeing. So I got some attention, a little bit, and they say if you're making a channel or whatever, keep a schedule. So I tried that, and it seemed like things were going well as far as that, and an average of this, and yeah. But then I took a break because I was getting like, I didn't like some of the feedback I was getting from just random people, and just feeling like I needed to defend myself or explain myself or be entertaining, and it was getting stressful. So I quit for just a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then I tried to get back because I found that I still liked it, the idea of it, the concept, and I was doing it for me, not doing it for anybody else. And that's not how it started, but now it's become that. But I came back and it was different as far as like, you know, what, because who knows how this whole system and platform operates. But, you know, it's fine for me. I'm okay. I don't require that much interaction or engagement or involvement. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing anyway. But I can tell just from seeing the numbers that there just isn't that same level of exposure, which is okay. Because if more people are watching, that's more people that are possibly, you know, having negative feedback and negative understanding, negative commentary, because they don't understand who I am or what I am or anything about me, and they just react without investigation. They don't read the about page. They don't look at any other information. They don't watch any. They just see like a person like me, and based on their own personal prejudice and bias about what a person like me should automatically be, leave their thoughts on whatever they just watched, even if they didn't watch the whole thing. How fun. Anyway, that's people right there. That's my species. So I don't really yeah, I don't feel too much pride in being human. I feel more shame than anything about, you know, we've let it get this way and we're letting it get worse. And it's like, well, and my thought on trying to fix things, like the people that are actively participating in the conservation efforts and environmental protection and things like that. The nicer we make this planet, the more people, the existing population, will just want to fill it with more people to be able to experience it and enjoy it for themselves. So it's like, the nicer we make it for ourselves, no matter how destructive or you know, that is for everything else on the planet, just the more we'll just want to make more room for our own population, and to be able to also then, you know, make room for more population. The population just keeps making more room for itself to continue to expand, to make room for more population at the cost of everything else. And ultimately it will lead to a collapse of catastrophic proportions, because it's happened before. And so that's just the inevitability of it, which is just on its way. And it's not about what is it, doomsaying or gloom seeking. It's truth, you know. And there's a lot of evidence that supports that it is just a potential future, but it should be scary enough that we should be seeking, I think, many alternative paths, as many as we can find now, before we find ourselves walking down a very narrow corridor, hallway to survival. Meanwhile, everything else is just, as far as like other species and, you know, systems of the planet, I still think that the Earth is still trying its best to maintain, and it's seen it before, all these different systems, as far as like ocean currents or atmospheric currents, you know, shutting down or, you know, changing to accommodate what other systems are doing. It's just a balancing act of forces, and humans are but a variable And anyway, that has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about. Now we're deep into the video, and I can really talk about why I'm here. I was thinking about my Barbara. And how that's how I ever kind of think of her. You know, she's my Barbara, whatever that means to me, whatever that means at all. And you know, she's been with me my entire time here. You know, except for like the first few months, when I was still, you know, at the drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, just down the road, and I was still just new to the area, and I hadn't decided anything. I was beyond making decisions at that point. But you know, since I started being, you know, coming back to life and finding some sort of identity in a life worth living, even though it's not the greatest, and it's not, it's more than what I had, you know. But she's been around, and she was only around in a much more, I was aware of her, I knew who she was, you know, just like a lot of other people are to me, but she didn't really have exactly much, you know, the same recognition as she does now, or significance. And she was just part of the group, part of my group, that I accepted as being part of my group, my social circle, the people that I talked to and felt they were okay. And that used to be a bit larger than it is now. A lot larger than it is now. I've separated and distanced and am going my own direction with just some basic upkeep and maintenance as far as what other people are aware of. But my own personal traditions and rituals have expanded. I believe so. And deepened. So it's like a personal resolve. It's just not as public as it used to be. And I guess this is part of it as well. But anyway, then the pandemic happened, you know, worldwide. And everything shut down. Meetings too. And I've just been rolling along with it, like just like everybody else, you know, through the pandemic and, you know, the scares of mandatory, you know, inoculations, vaccinations of the entire population, and you know, just the differences in science, and it's like not knowing who to believe, because there's a lot of bad science out there, you know, trying to prove this, trying to prove that, and sad to say, the pandemic was good for the, you know, for business, for the economy, for political agendas and campaigns and promises, and unfortunately, you know, the pandemic fizzled out. People got better. And yeah, it was tragic. A lot of people died, and, you know, it could have been a lot worse. And people would jump to, you know, say that, oh, it was because of our leaders. They intervened so fast, and they saved, you know, it's like, no, they got lucky. What was going to have happened, happened. And if anything, we just managed not to make things worse. We were getting ready to make things worse, a lot worse, but it kind of just naturally kind of resolved itself. With help, I guess. But I don't know. My own understanding of the whole situation is very poor, I know. But it's from my personal position on this planet and my timeline and understanding of, yeah, But again, I don't have the best perspective at all, I know. And it is skewed by my own personal prejudices and biases of what I only think I understand, probably, but I don't have a real understanding. I leave it to the experts, like the World Health Organization and the Center for Disease Control. But even there, like, some of their stuff is a little bit skeptical, even on their own side, because no one knows exactly, what's going on or what the future holds. And we're just kind of like, well, we'll see what happens. So, anyway, back to my Barbara. She is 90 years old now. And, yeah, she's been wearing her years. And she's wearing them even more now. And I've just noticed over the past year, just a decline. And she's lost weight, and her mind, even though she has always been really sharp, for being in her mid to late 80s, the time when I've known her. I didn't know her. I'd never met her when she was younger. And, I met her when she was about 84, I suppose, because I've been here for 7 years. So I would have met her when she was 83 or 84. And her husband was still alive, and his name was Jack. Like my brother. I don't know if I've said that before, but maybe that was one of the things that I thought was kind of neat. When I found out that her husband's name was the same as my brother's name. It's like a connection. And also that she has ties to where I used to live. And so, we had something to talk about. Even though there is the age difference and stuff like that. But Jack and Barbara, Jack would sometimes come out with her to the meetings or the functions. And he's a nice guy. And I'm not going to talk about Barbara's story and why she was there or anything like that. That's her story. And be respectful, not talk about somebody else. Which is exactly what I'm doing. But it's me talking to myself about the situation. And then Jack, he wasn't in greatest of health when I met him, and he was on his way out, and I think he died, and he didn't see the pandemic. I guess he died right before it started. Sometime in 2019, I guess that would have been. Or was it 2020? I don't know. It feels like a long time ago now. And I think Barbara didn't really exactly plan on being around very much longer after he passed away. They'd been married for 63 years. And yeah, that's her story. But she did hang around after he passed away, and she had a lot of support from her family and things like that. But they all live in different places around the country, except for one that's kind of close by, and one of her daughters, who I've actually met. I think I've met 2 or 3 of the children, and in fact, it just blows my mind, sometimes when I think about it, that they trust a stranger well enough to chauffeur their aging mother around. It's only one night a week, but still, I guess they just automatically just trust, or I have done nothing to dissuade them otherwise. But I personally just worry that she's going to fall or have an accident or something's going to happen when I'm around, and I won't know what to do, or I'll do the wrong thing. But it hasn't happened. And it's better than, I guess, her being alone if something happens. But at least she has some idea of how to contact help and ability to, so she won't be alone if something does happen and she falls or she needs help. But I guess the thought that I wanted to say to her, and I'm scared every time that I see her nowadays that it might be the last time I see her. And the last time I talk to her will be the last time I talk to her. So it's like I'm already like mentally making preparations. And I think she is too. I think she knows. And I don't know if she knows that I know. But anyway. She's asking questions and asking if I'll be okay and stuff like that. She wants to, stop going to as many meetings as often. Even just the once a week. She's just she's been doing that for a while though, but it's becoming more real. Or she's like, I might not be going to as many meetings as often, and how I would feel about that. And I was like, I've always tried to reassure her that it's up to her, and don't worry so much about me. I won't be disappointed or upset or angry. It's up to you. And so I don't know if those are the right words, but because I do appreciate her company too. I don't want her to feel like I won't miss her, because I will, and that she's not important, because she is. But I also don't want her to do things that she doesn't physically or mentally or whatever have the ability to do. And I don't want her to hurt herself just to keep me company. Because she knows my story. She knows the situation. Lots of, that I don't have very many people and things like that. And she's right. That's just life as I understand it. Life is how I've made it out to be. It's like, I don't really know what else I'm supposed to be doing, but this is it. At this point in my journey. And, but she is important. She is significant. She is a person of consequence to me. I do care what happens and how she feels about it. Even though I don't have much say over it, it's like I want to, provide some sort of comfort or something. So the words that were coming to me, and I couldn't sleep this morning, is I wanted to ask her, if she thought Jack would be proud of her for, these past couple years after he passed away. Not because he would, she might talk to him still. I'm guessing she does. And I wonder if she's just ever wondered if he would be proud of her for living, continuing to live after he passed away, and how she handled it, and has been handling her own life alone for the first time, and living alone for the first time, beginning at the age of 87. I can't imagine. She went straight from her family's living situation to college living with roommates and things to being married and having children, and she was never alone. So, and then I would see what she would have to say about that question, whether her husband Jack would be proud of her. And no matter what she ended up saying, I would listen. And then I would say, well, I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you. And then, for whatever that's worth, And because I know I am a person in her life. I'm kind of adopted. But I'm not family. But maybe somehow I am. I don't know. Good. She has a certain style and wit and charm of her own. And but that spark, it's like I watched her tonight, Wednesday night, at the meeting, the only night I see her. And for whatever reason, I found myself watching her, because I'm just kind of focused on just a random place in the void, in space, listening, but not staring at somebody as they talk. And that's how I've just settled on it for everybody. I don't stare at them when they talk, or rarely look in their general direction. I don't need to look at people in their eyes to listen to them. It makes me uncomfortable, and I just figure it makes other people uncomfortable. I don't know. But tonight I was looking at her while she shared, and she was talking well, and she looked like she knew what she was saying and had something to say, and she was just in the process of saying it. And she, had an energy to her that reminded me of some years ago, and she wasn't speaking exactly with fire and but she was speaking well, and it was like I was trying to capture that, just visually, mentally record it. And it's like I don't even have, we're so anonymous that we don't take pictures, we definitely don't have video, and it's like I won't have any documented anything. Even a sound. I have voicemail from her on my phone, and it's like I don't want to delete it because I don't want to delete the sound of her voice, because I don't know how much longer she has. And it's like my own mother that passed away just this past, February. It's like I don't have any audio. I have some pictures, but there's no sound of her voice. I don't have anything recorded of her. It doesn't exist. And I can't get over that. That we didn't do anything like that to have that. And it's like, so anyway, I guess trying to capture moments, for my own peace of mind and security, I suppose, to help me, even though, so I just don't want to make the same mistakes, or my own, what I consider to be errors in life. I don't want to take things for granted or take them as given, or just assume that people are going to be there forever or something, because just one day they just won't be, and one day I won't be either. So, but I'm not worried about that because I won't be there for it. But mostly trying to take care of myself, so I have as good of a quality of life while I'm here, and should something happen that changes that, but not there yet. Hopefully I have a long way to go, but who knows. Trying to make better decisions these days. So, well, this was an impromptu episode, I suppose, session, and under different lighting and circumstance, but harkens back to the first ones of these that I ever did. And I can't record out there at night because the lighting is too poor. It comes out all pixelated. So I decided to be back here. I guess that works. So until next time.